Hey, baby, do you wanna come over and see my big old vinyl collection? You see what time it is? I'm locked in all day, all night, 12:26. You actually don't see what time it is because it's different. This one is a full screen experience. Very different things going on here. I'm going to turn things off so we don't run into any buffering issues and the like. We'll screen this bad boy. Welcome to the full screen experience. I'm losing my mind. So, in the Logic Teleport video, at the end of it, reaction, I said I would do like a vinyl unboxing / show you my stuff. It's pretty much the gist. I'm gonna show you my stuff. So I have a big box, black. Has a bunch of vinyl in it. And then I have kind of like a cabinet shelves of boxes, more limited edition stuff typically, or just stuff I don't want to open, stuff I don't want to get damaged, whatever, etc. So I was deciding, should I pull from there or should I pull from the box? I think for the first one, I'm just going to pull from the shelf because that might give me something more interesting. I don't know. I have interesting stuff, like I've signed stuff even in that black box too. So we're just going to go through it all. We're going to go through it all. And over the course of the lifespan of this channel, and then obviously I'm adding stuff. I have orders out right now, actually. I'm adding stuff. So it'll be forever growing. So this could be a series that just continues to go on. It is a glimpse into my life, into my stuff that I collect. So here I have a box. I have the name of what is inside on the other side. So I have it upside down right now. I'm going to not look while I open it. So I don't know. I want it to be a surprise. Opening it. Okay. Don't look. That receipt. That's a receipt. Don't look. Okay, now I know what it is just by touching it because I wrapped it up like it's a freaking bomb. Like, because this one is super special. This one means a lot to me and my heart, genuinely. Like I'm dead serious. This is an artist. That would be hilarious if it's not what I think it is, but it definitely is. This is an artist that I wanted vinyl for years. One of my favorite artists of all time. Like, could be top 5 favorite artists of all time. Probably his favorite, as far as like favorite artists of all time, probably top 5. Yeah, it's that high. And he never had any vinyl releases until his last album, which really made me mad for a long time. But they announced they would be doing a vinyl release for this. They did it. I bought it. I wish I would have brought like 3 copies, but I only bought 1. So I wrap this thing up like it's COKE, you feel me? Like it's wrapped up like that. It's packaged up on some Tony Montana stuff. So here it is in all its bubble wrap glory. Look how big this bubble wrap is. This is how it came, actually, which I'm glad. I can look at it now so I know what it is. Open this bad boy up. I'm glad it's this one. It's one of my favorite artists, you know. To start us off, you know. I'm gonna count how many times I say you know in this video. Alright. Wrapping this bad boy. I'm gonna wrap in it. Reveal. Wait, how am I gonna title this? Because like if I title it, that would kind of get rid of the crap. Because I have to title it, right? I have to say like, hey, this is... Dang. I guess you can enjoy it from my reaction of it, okay? It's surprising to me. Shut up. So they have Absol Herbert, boy. Herbert, the tape is sticking to my finger. I like the all the bubble wraps on. All the bubble. It's okay. I'll just set it over here. Set it over here. Okay. So this is one of those that I'm probably never going to unwrap, just because I don't believe he signed to a major label. He's just signed to T.D.E. So they don't have like the best distribution stuff. Like they don't have like they typically don't sell vinyls on their own. Vinyl, I guess, on their own. Typically the ones that do have vinyl, like Schoolboy Q, like Kendrick Lamar, like J-Rock, they're signed to Interscope, I believe. So, you know, Interscope has their own distribution, or they do it through UMG or something like that. I don't know. And that's why they have vinyl, and Ab-Soul never got it because he never signed to Interscope. I believe I heard him say he had the same deals lined up on the on the table. Obviously not the same deals. He didn't have the same, probably wasn't offered the same amount of money as Kendrick, but you know, same places he could have gone. But he said he listened to Top Dog, and whatever Top Dog told him to do, he did. If he told him not to do it, he didn't do it, and he stayed on T.D.E. That's the real T.D.E. soldier right there. So, Ab-Soul, Herbert. A little background on this album. As far as, dang, that glare is crazy. As far as I know, maybe there's, I don't know, maybe I get something wrong. I'm not. God dang. I was gonna say I'm not an Ab-Soul stan. I might be. So basically, he disappeared for, I don't know when this came out. 2022? This came out 2022? Because 2016 was his last album, Do It That Will. It came out in December 2022. Came out the same day as For Your Eyes Only and Tech Nine's The Storm. That was a good night. I remember that night. It was good music, good music. J. Cole's album put me to sleep. Good album. Kind of boring, but it's a good album though. Do What Thou Wilt. It's crazy though. That album changed my life legitimately. So years later, let's just say 6 years later for the sake of it, because I think this came out in 2022. Years later, I can't hold it up there because it glares. Years later, he makes his comeback album. But with that comeback album, he has a lot to answer for. Where have you been? What happened? What's going on? Etc., 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 etc. You know? And then in between that, we've heard rumors he got hurt. He broke his leg. We saw pictures of him with a broken leg. All this crazy stuff, right? So like, what's going on with Ab-Soul? Where's Ab-Soul? This album answers that question perfectly. He described it as an album for the people that don't call him Ab-Soul, that still call him Herbert, still know him by his real name. It's an album for those people. It's an album for his close friends, people that know him personally, and answering all the questions that they may want answered, like what's wrong, you know, what's going on, something going on, etc., etc. So it's very personal. It's very grounded, and if you know Ab-Soul's music, he's not very grounded at all. He's very metaphorical, metaphysical, scientifical, you know. you know, he's very out there. A lot of his music's based in, I wouldn't call it conspiracy theory, but like, I don't know. Yeah, a lot of it, you know, it's a huge song called Bohemian Grove, you know, which is, it's not even a conspiracy. It exists. It's a place that exists, you know, so it's like, I don't want to call it conspiracy theory, but for the sake of conversation, it's based in conspiracy theories, based in a song about the Anunnaki and Planet X. Back to the album. So yeah, he makes music that's typically rooted in a lot of conspiracy theories, and it's very out there, metaphorical. The whole Do It Thou Wilt album is based on Aleister Crowley's philosophies, and it's based all on that, and it's a beautiful album, super intelligent. It's one of the most layered albums. It's probably my favorite album, one of my favorite albums of all time. Top 10 album of all time, in my opinion. It's so intelligent and beautifully crafted, but you have to be open to hearing other perspectives, because Aleister Crowley was a Satanist, from my understanding of him. You have to be open to that type of thing. Not open to Satanism, calm down, but open to hearing other perspectives. And because Ab-Soul is not a Satanist, he's just taking his works and kind of using it as a vehicle, like using his philosophies and just kind of playing with his philosophies and elaborating on them. It's an album. It's really a feminist. It's an amazing and deeply layered album about feminism, about Aleister Crowley and his teachings and stuff. It's not even about him. It's about like You just gotta listen to it. Do your own research. It's a great layered album. No, it's not satanic. No, he's not preaching Satanism. No, Absol's not a Satanist. He's just intelligently breaking down that piece of work, and it's beautiful and great. It's genuinely amazing. I need that album on vinyl, but they won't release it. I've tweeted at these so many times. They will not. They will not drop it on vinyl. Honestly, I feel like I'm the reason this came out on vinyl, because I was begging them to drop Control System, to drop Do What Thou Wilt, to drop all of those albums on vinyl for so long, and they never did it. But then this came out, and I said, drop this on vinyl. Drop it. And they did. They did drop it. I feel like I'm the reason. I'm taking credit for it. I don't care. I'm taking credit for it. I love the back. Kind of wish this was the cover, honestly. I wasn't a big fan of the cover. I thought it was kind of lazy. Like, it's a very typical rapper baby picture album cover. This, I like this. Like, it's a photo shoot. This is more telling. I don't know. I think they're both pretty telling about what the album is going to be, the content of the album. I don't know. I would go back and forth on that. Do I like this? It's fine. It's just fine. Like I said, it's just basic. It's a basic baby picture album cover. I'd enjoy this more though. In this album, like I said, it's very personal, from on an introspective level of, like, you know, what he's been going through personally. He talks about his bout with slip and slide. Put two and two together. Slip and slide. Don't want to say the word on YouTube. Slip and slide. And he talks about his battle with that. So he attempted that during his break, that 6-year gap between Do What Thou Wilt and Herbert. And I guess it was, I don't know if it had something to do with drugs or whatever. I forgot what the issue was. He talked about it with Charlemagne, but he basically described it as like he wasn't even on purpose. It wasn't intentional. He just kind of woke up and people are saying he did this, and he was like, I wasn't even aware of it, whatever the case was. It was a very like unintentional thing, but it was revealing to him, to my, again, not speaking for him, just trying to remember what he said in that, but it was like a revealing moment for him that, you know, things need to change, whatever, yada, 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 whatever. And then he talked about, he had, in that interview, I remember him talking about him having an issue with vaping and stuff like that, and he had like an addiction to that, and now he kind of just substituted addictions with, you know, different things. And it's a very good interview he had with Charlemagne. I think it was Charlemagne. I'm pretty sure it was Charlemagne. If it wasn't Charlemagne, it was somebody else. Just type in Absol Herbert interview and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, he talked about that on a few songs, actually. What's it called? It was like a lead single. They always, it's a beautiful song too. Like, musically, this album is also, okay. First of all, I'm going to talk about the content, then I'm going to talk about the music. The content, there's a song, I'm forgetting, Do Better, that's what it's called. I keep thinking, do it, I'm like, do it, do this, do that. No, it's Do Better. So Do Better, it's like a mantra. He said he wanted to be like a mantra for people who want to do better. I gotta do better, I gotta do better, I gotta pick up the pieces and master the puzzle upon us. Slow down time, get back in line with my chakras. Da da da. Like, it's a beautiful song about, you know, it's like admitting I have a problem, I need help, I need to do better, I gotta do better. And he has some really powerful lines in there about just like, you know, I can do whatever I put my mind to. I can do better. Not like I gotta do better, but like I can do it. I have the strength to do it. And that's where it was really powerful for me. And I really love that. The video is super powerful as well, where he's showing himself jumping off of a roof. It's a lot with the crane and stuff like that. They went all out with that video, which was really dope from T.D.E, because they really usually don't go all out with Absol videos, but they did this time, and I think that's dope. And I think that's partly because Kendrick was leaving. And now now we got to start pumping money into the guys we have. You know, we have to make them the stars now, because we're losing a star in Kendrick. I'm pretty sure that's what it looks like to me, which is great, if that's the case. So what else? What other content? Oh, also, it's a lot of, so as far as content goes, it's a lot more grounded. Like I said, it is not super conspiracy theories. We're talking about Aleister Crowley. None of that. It's about his life, his homies, friends, family. Got his friends on features and stuff. It's very tight knit and personal. I don't know where he goes after this, but that's how it stands out. Typically, an album like that wouldn't stand out in an artist's discography. That's most people's albums. He doesn't have an album like this yet. At this point, he didn't have an album like this. This is his first time really doing that. So that's why it stands out in his discography, and it makes it really, really neat. He has this Gang in Them is hard. Yeah, he has a lot of hard songs in there. So that's pretty much the content of the album. You get the personal, mental health tracks. He has a line, I know better than most that the soul don't. I took a leap, shattered my legs, and lost some teeth, but I'm still standing on every single word that I speak. Sheesh, like that. Or did he say peep? He said peep or sheesh. I said one of those. Either way, that was hard. Took a leap, shattered my legs, and lost some teeth, but I'm still standing on every single word I speak. So he broke his legs, but he's still standing, and he lost some teeth, but I'm still standing on every word I speak. Like the metaphors, the entendres there are beautiful. And that's another thing about the content of this album. Ab-Soul is a top tier elite lyricist, and that shines all throughout this. Typically his lyricism shines through his metaphors, and that's where his eliteness, his alien lyricism shines. But in this album, he really lets that wordplay fly. He's always great with his wordplay too, but this album, his wordplay is top tier. But Do What Thou Wilt, his wordplay on there is crazy too. I could make an hour-long video about that album. That album is sensational. Trying to think a little bit more musically, like sound wise. He said he was with this album, Herbert, he was going for something that his friends would enjoy. Like if they were not in their head, it didn't make the album, whereas in his previous works, it wasn't always something you nod your head to, or something you think about, something you sleep on, internalize, go read a book about, then come back to it, listen to it 3-4 times. This is like you gotta nod your head to it, or it's not making the album. It's like every album, like the thought process behind the music was that. So for that reason, this album sounds pretty good. It doesn't take much warming up. Like Do What Thou Wilt, it took me a while to, I liked it right out the gate. I remember saying this is another gem. He has another one. It's probably not as good as Control System, but it's right there. But after years and years of listening to it, I'm like, this is the most beautiful, layered, metaphorical album. Like there's so many meanings and layers to it. It took me so while to crack that code. It's like realizing you're in the Matrix when you realize how good that album is. This album isn't like that. It's pretty straightforward and direct, but the music is more, accessible. So if you were introducing somebody to Ab-Soul, you'd probably start with this. This is probably what I would start with. If you want to introduce them and, I'll start with this. Never mind. Don't even start with this. Start with Herbert. That would be the most casual introduction, because if you start with Do What Thou Wilt, it's going to be like, what is this? It's probably demonic. It's probably something crazy. You know what I mean? So Herbert's probably the safest bet. But even though it's safe musically, it's still lyrically super sharp. The content is introspective and worthwhile, and it's meaningful. It's not just BS. Even with the more street style songs, it's not BS. It's meaningful and it connects. So yeah, it's dope. Why does Schoolboy Q pop up when you type in Ab-Soul? The disrespect is palpable and it's irritating. Lyrics and track list. All right. Okay. Message in the Bottle is perfect, and it encapsulates. And it perfectly encapsulates the perspective of Ab-Soul on T.D.E. He's surrounded by all these mainstream stars, these monsters. Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q. J-Rock isn't as big as those two, but even he has an Interscope deal, I believe, and has these hits. Ab-Soul has always been the top dog, underdog. That's what he calls himself on that one album with the red cover. I'm bad with names. I can see it, like I can visualize it. I'm horrible with names. That's why I couldn't remember the names of these songs. And the names of people, songs, books, anything. Long-term mentality. That's the name of the album, his first album. He has a song called Top Dog Underdog, and he describes just being surrounded by these superstars that are blowing up, and he's kind of just like left behind. He's making great music, but that's why he's so special. That's why he has the fan base that he does, that loves him as much as he does, because we resonate with that. We resonate with being the underdog. We watch him and kind of live through him, like we see him, and we feel like we know what it's like to be around. Maybe people are doing great things, but we're doing great things too. It's like nobody's noticing, you know, and that's we resonate with that top dog underdog feeling. I think that's why he has the strong fan base that he has, that loves him as much as we do. And Message in a Bottle is kind of a similar intro. He samples the Joe Budden podcast, where Joe Budden was, and then we're talking about how T.D.E doesn't have a miss, and then Joe was like, well, financially and the industry standards, Ab-Soul might be a miss. And then Ab-Soul's rapping, and then at the end of it, he ties it. I don't want to spoil it because it's dope. And that how he ties back in the Joe Budden podcast in the middle and the end, or the beginning and end, is really cool to hear. No report cards, just bars, Hollandaise bars, moon shooter. I shoot for the moon, I pray the sun is out. I don't know what, I gotta read the lyrics. I haven't listened to this album in a minute. It's kill or be killed, not heal or be healed. Fake is the new real. I want to say what happened to hip hop, but then I'll be nagging. I want to say because whack, but then I'll be bragging. The last dragon, flamethrower, lawnmower, charge toward your greener grass. I'll bypass your bandwagon till it's all over. Bring the white flag in, bro. He's rapping on this bars. I tied that all together. I'm nice. Another thing about, like I said, it's not just bars. There's meaning. There's substance. Feelings go numb because you've been through things. Balls get dropped. Pause. Think hoop dreams. Get fried over the gravy that's poutine. See, I decorate my emotions and metaphors. Tell stories with allegories. So on and so forth. But who give a the long lost lyricist got rich talking nonsense? Get yours. Like there's substance behind this. There's meaning behind it. Shoot for the moon and keep a gun around in a world so cold. At least the sun is out. Live in my mind. I question everything to that point. I don't know what to think. This is actually, fun fact, this was my first ever lyric video I ever made, was for this song. First ever one I put out. I'll say first ever one I put out. Obviously, I had some practice, but like my first lyric video short was for Moon Shooter. I think it was either Moon Shooter or it was a song with Joel Ortiz and King Crooked, but it was one of those two. I think it was this though. Then Joey B got the second verse, but I actually prefer the version without Joey B, which was the single version. I'm trying not to say his last name because it's a curse word and I can't say too many of those on here. But yeah, no report cards, bars, moon shooter, F out my face, Goodman, good man, punch killed that, do better, man. I just want to look at the lyrics here because they're so powerful. Zakari killed it too. They always haunt my dreams. It sounds so good. This song is amazing. You got to listen to it. This is a still from the video where he's jumping off the roof, kind of mimicking his slip and slide attempt. But his slip and slide attempt was like off a overpass or something, like on the freeway or whatever. I don't know, the street, somewhere on the street. You know what I'm trying to say. Not off a giant building like that. I don't think he would have survived that. Not to make light of it, but that's a little different. Said I gotta do better. I gotta pick up the pieces and master the puzzle upon us. Look in the mirror in the eye and be honest. Slow down time, get back in line with my chakras. Reach for the galaxy. Leave stardust for dust after me. Enter the void, fill in the cavity. Risk the reward if that's how it's gotta be. Or if that's how it has to be. I gotta do better. I gotta everything in my power to try to do what God would do. Ride the tide. Don't fight the current that's guided you. Melt the ice round the furnace burning inside of you. Bro, ride the tide. Don't fight the current that guided you. Melt the ice around the furnace burning inside of you. Like, bro, he is so intelligent. The way he writes, it's every line is meaningful in songs like this. Obviously, not every song is like this. He has songs with Big Sean and Russ on here where he's talking about, girls, and then the pleasures of said things. Not things, not women are not things. I'm saying things as in a substitute for a word that I don't want to use on here because YouTube for of that, that's pretty much what he's talking about on there. And so yeah, not every song is super duper substance, but songs that he is going for substance, every line is meaningful, especially in other albums like Do What Thou Wilt. That whole album is that. Every single line means something, has layers to it. It's triple, double entendres pretty much in every single line. The whole songs be metaphors, et cetera. Concepts are layered, whether it be about feminism, and then, it's crazy. So when he's in that bag, he's in that bag. Gang and Them, I love. That's just a dope song. Features dope. All the features killed it too, by the way. Um, Wild Side, I think, is a good song with Jhené Aiko. Jhené Aiko and Absol always have dope collabs together. Church on the Move, musically, is super creative. It'd be like that. Positive vibes only. A lot of people, I feel like, didn't like positive vibes. Not a lot of people. Not that was an exaggeration, but I saw some people say they didn't like positive vibes only. I remember somebody on Dead End Hip Hop didn't like it. Shout out to Dead End Hip Hop. I love them. They didn't like it, but I think it's necessary because of how heavy this album is. It's necessary, and I understand exactly why he had to end this album with something as positive as this, because, and even It'd Be Like That, because It'd Be Like That is two parts. Like, I believe the first part, unless I'm mixing up songs, the first part is more like, I'm sad it'd be like that, but towards the end of it, it's more optimistic. And then Positive Vibes Only, because everything is so heavy here, he knew somebody who's listening to this, who's relating to it, I'm just assuming they need this to have a good ending. Because if I'm sad and I'm going through what he's going through, I listen to it and it has a sad ending, where does that leave me? There's no hope. There's no, you know what I mean? I'm just going to be sad forever, huh? Like, no, he's saying, no, there is positivity on the flip side. Just keep going, And that's why I love that. And then he really ties it all together with Gotta Rap. And that's where he had that line, lost some legs, shattered my legs and lost some teeth, but I'm still standing on every single word I speak. He has a line about soldiers caught another body, that's reincarnation. I believe that's No Report Card. Soldiers caught another body, that's reincarnation. He has so many slick lines on this album. He's just dope. He's just so dope. And this is a album where he really is allowed to flex because he's not tied to these and I love him. I love these concepts and stuff that he usually does. But I'm saying because he's not tied to those, he can really flex his bars and just play off. He's wordplay. You could just tell he loves to do that. I'm gonna look at some more lyrics. Righteous man, wrong one to quit, run quick, get an eye exam. Couldn't see me if I just swam. It's like, see me if I just swam. Like, couldn't touch me with Midas hand. Y'all don't feel me though. Literally never had a bully thus far though, but temptation been my sparring partner. My guards up like the Air Force me. Your crew's a fiction story. Come on. Av is your crew's a fiction story. I just caught that. But also, this is your crucifixion. Because I thought it was just crucifixion, your crucifixion story. I didn't even realize your crew's a fiction story. That's dope. Therefore, never dare cross me to speak God's words, what we're here for. That you knew. Don't even get me started with the sentence unless we're talking about capital, like capital C's. Are we not talking about capital C's? Was that not a reference to capital C's? You start a sentence with the capital letter. Like, I understood like the capital letter, also capital punishment. Oh, capital sentence, capital punish. Dang. I thought he was saying like, don't get me started with a sentence unless we're talking about capital, but like, I don't want to talk about it unless my boy capital Steve's or whatever. So maybe it's triple entendre, maybe it's double entendre. This is what I'm talking about. Like, he's so layered. Like, capital punishment. Don't get me started with a sentence. We're talking about capital letters. Obviously, start a sentence. He's so, bro, it's different. Like, the level of thinking, I thought it was a different double entendre. I thought he was talking about capital Steve's this whole time. Yeah, so after loot, that's true. Put it together, absolute, that's true, So glow like a spray for your natural. I ain't friendly, but I move like Casper move. You might see me with the semi, I ain't have to shoot. To keep it El Capitan, theatrical. Never wore a rosary or went to confession, but if I could clean the mess up with the message, it'll be a blessing. God willing. You may have heard Jack and Jill, but we more healing. You may have heard of Jack and Jill, but we not healing. Keep packing still, or still packing still. Man, we need to stop tripping. Is it because Jack and Jill went up a hill that they tripped or something? The two lines reference the nursery rhyme. Jack and Jill went up a hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and Brat broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So is that a reference? So Jack and Jill, we need to stop tripping. I'm learning this as you learn it. I know there's something here. The first line uses heel as a near homophone to hill, and the second line uses tripping in the direct homophone as a direct homophone referring to Jack tripping by falling down. And in the context of a line, tripping as a messing around, not acting right. Second line also uses packing to describe packing, still carrying it, and also using packing luggage to travel. Or go. You may have heard about Jack and Jill, but we're not healing. Keep packing still. We need to stop tripping. Keep packing still. We need to stop tripping, like packing. Like they're packing luggage. We need to stop tripping, like going on trips, packing luggage. That's crazy. But we need to stop tripping, like Jack and Jill, they fell down the hill. We need to stop tripping. That's you see what I mean? Okay, I feel like I'm learning this stuff, and I've listened to this album a million times. He thinks on a different level. He's on a different level. He's on a different wavelength. It's not the same as any of your favorite rappers. I'm telling you, Ab-Soul is built different. He's just different. So, yeah. This has been. I'll speak normal. I won't be weird. I'm sorry. This has been the first entry video in my series of vinyl displays. I don't know what to call this. Showing you my stuff. Hey, baby. Do you wanna come over and see my big old vinyl collection? Winked the wrong eye. I realized the eye you see is my left eye, but the eye I blinked was my right eye. All right. Yeah, that was the first one. Those are for the thumbnail. So, yeah, maybe I'll do another one tomorrow. And, yeah, I like this. It's fun. So you know what it is, but it's fun for me to like impromptu give a speech about a random, like I literally have like 60, 70, you know what I mean? So it's a surprise to me. So it's like giving like an impromptu speech about something I wasn't prepared for. So it's fun. It's like speech class. You know, my final for speech class, it was this. It was, you know, give an impromptu speech about a random topic that we give you. And that's what this is like. See how I just broke that down? Who else does this? Who else is this muy inteligente to where they can just do that off the top of the dizome? That knowledgeable, that wise, that powerful. Nobody. And I mean nobody. Yeah, I'm excited to do this again. This was fun. All right. Bye.